guys, welcome back to Rivian Updates. My name is Isaiah. Right behind me, Gen 2 Quad Max. Rivian has been teasing us for more than 1 year. Last year, we got introduced to the Gen 2 Quad. Finally, a year later, we're getting it here in the flesh. I'm here in the New York Manhattan space, and this just looks absolutely stunning. This is, of course, in launch green. They're bringing launch green back for the 2026 model year. I did just see news that they are getting rid of Red Canyon and Limestone. Red Canyon, very sad. I'm not too sad about Limestone going away. With that being said, this looks stunning. I will say this launch green looks a little bit different than the original launch green that we saw in the Gen 1s back in 2021, 22. This has, I feel like, a little bit more of a metallic flake and might be a little bit of a shade different, but we do know that Rivian is expanding their paint shop, so this could be a little different. Now here we have the new Super Sport wheels. Rivian has also released a new Sport wheels for the 2026 model year, specifically for the quads. Of course, we have the brights, we have the darks, and now we have a brushed bronze, which I think looks absolutely stunning. It's got this matte finish to it, so it isn't as shiny. Let me know what you guys think of that down in the comments below. But these tires, these wheels, they look absolutely beautiful. I will say they remind me of the standard 20-inch wheels that we see on the base Rivians that you get. Reminds me a bit of that, but of course the tires themselves are much different. These here are Pilot Sport S5s, and this is a hard, grippy tire. And these are also staggered. So 275, 50 in the front, and then you go over here, we have 305, 45 in the rear, both a 22-inch wheel. That's what we're getting for the wheel situation. Even more so, these accents. I mean, these accents look absolutely beautiful. This is what they call Laguna Blue. So I think this is kind of reminiscent of Laguna Beach. It seems Rivian has a pretty big presence in Laguna Beach. Of course, we have the Laguna South Coast Theater. A lot of the press photos that you see of Rivians, those are also taken in Laguna Beach. They also have Rivians that are lifeguard, beach watching vehicles. And so Laguna and Rivian have some sort of relationship, and that's what this is, Laguna Blue. Now, probably the biggest change that we're getting this year is, well, you already know what it is. It's NACS, a NACS port. The same plug that you would see on Tesla vehicles right here on the driver's side front. A bit of controversial for me. I think I would have preferred Rivian to move the charge port to this side. I think front charge port placement is best. You get to pull into chargers, makes it easy, and if you're towing something, especially for vehicles like our Rivians that can tow 7,000 plus pounds, 11,000, depending on what vehicle you have, and being able to pull in if you're towing is simple. But if you pull into a Tesla supercharger, even though this has native NACS, you are still going to be taking up 2 spots. Even more interesting, I found out with one of the Rivian advisors over there, which is, I think, really quirky. So you'll see right here all of the Tesla superchargers that are in, around you. But if I put it on Rivian and I take away Tesla, right? Even though this is a Rivian, the Rivian Adventure Network is nowhere to be seen. That is because all of the Rivian stations are CCS. And so you click adapter needed, and then finally they show up. So it's so funny, right? Like the previous generation or previous model years that have CCS1, of course, if you need an adapter, it would be a NACS adapter. But this time you need a CCS adapter, which is pretty interesting. Now, of course, the biggest thing that will signal whether or not you have a quad is this speeding Gary back here. I mean, of course, I have one on the back of my dual motor that is, of course, a fake. It was a gift, but looks very similar. And of course, you move over here. Right here you have quad. And then on the other Rivians, right, the tri and the dual, same line goes here, but tri, it's yellow, dual, it's gray, and then of course quad, it's blue, but it also spells out quad, which is actually pretty neat. On top of that, at least for the 2026 model year, open up the trunk here, something that was also noted, the railing system is gone. And so here there used to be rails, right, where people would actually make their own accessories. I know a few owners that have 3D printed things, but for now it is just tie downs. So I think a lot of people would actually prefer this. It makes things a little easier. I know some people complained of dogs or pets getting their feet in here hurt. And so this is just I think a really good change. Other than that, not a lot has changed for the 2026 model year. Of course, last year we just got the Gen 2s, and so things have already been changed so much compared to the Gen 1. But with the Quad, unlike your Tri and Dual, this is full Ascent motor. So you got 2 motors in the back and 2 motors in the front. That drivetrain unit, Ascent, not to be confused with Ascend. Ascend is the name of the interior, the premium interior options, which we'll take a look at in a second. But just reading off the spec sheet here, right, 1,025 horsepower, 1,198 pound-feet of torque. The 0 to 60 for the R1T, 2.5 seconds. I believe that competes or might beat the Tesla Cybertruck Cyberbeast. Then we have the R1S, 0 to 60, 2.6 seconds. I believe that matches or beats the Tesla Model X Plaid. 10.5 second quarter mile for both R1T and R1S. And then in VMAX mode, you're getting a top speed of 130 miles an hour. Up to 400 miles of range in conserve mode. EP estimated up to 374 miles of range, I guess, in your standard all-purpose. And Max Pack, just like the Tri, so Quad Max, Tri Max, North American charging standard. You're getting the dark out package, a standard sound and vision package, the air compressor, the utility panel, of course, the Laguna Blue accents. It does come with a CCS1 DC adapter. Of course, this has NACS. And so if you want to charge at any of Rivian's charging sites, which are all currently CCS1 cables, or Electrify America or EVgo, of course, slowly we're going to start to see a rollout of J3400 cables, but you're going to need an adapter. And then as standard, you are getting the 22-inch Sport burnished bronze wheels. So those will be the standard wheels, and of course, if you want to upgrade, you can get the Super Sports. And then we're also getting the graphite wheels that we see on the Dune. Those will also be an option. Now, if we move on to the interior here, nothing too new. This is the Ascend interior, so you're getting your premium stitching, you're getting some piano black here, right? Things are just a little more premium. You're getting the brown wood accents versus your regular black. Of course, you also have the 2 other Rivian, premium Rivian interiors. I'm forgetting what the names of them are. Slate Sky and Ocean Coast with the driftwood. I know everyone loves those 2 a little more than this, but this is the standard interior that you're gonna get on the Tri or the Quad. And I gotta say, it looks absolutely stunning still. Of course, I drive a dual Gen 1, so I have a regular interior, and every time I see the Ascend interior, I am impressed. Of course, you get cloth back here, soft touch. You get these plaid mats. I mean, everything looks absolutely beautiful. I do wonder when we are going to see captain's chairs in the R1S. I mean, this is the top trim. Do you want to utilize all 3 rows like this? I think captain chairs would work a little bit better for the Quad, so I am definitely looking forward to that. And then when we go on side, this is still on 2025.18, so the current Rivian software update that pretty much everyone has at this point, but this is expected to get a software update in September, which will unlock a few exclusive features for the Quad. Now, the Tri and the Quad already get launch mode. So of course, you're getting the software experience of a full launch. You're getting your 0 to 60 time, the G-force, it even records your 0 to 60 launch. But with the Quad, exclusively, you are getting what Rivian calls the RAD tuner. So Rivian has their Rivian Adventure department. It's the same team that is responsible for the Pikes Peak Quad, all of the experimental Rivian stuff that they have. There is going to be a tuner here. So now right here on the dynamics screen, right here where the trailer button is, it will be moved somewhere else, and instead you will get the rad tuner button. And essentially what it will be is an entire section for you to be able to change the dynamics of your Rivian. So through sliders, you will be able to fine-tune handling while creating personalized and savable drive modes. Start from scratch or build upon presets like Rally or Sport. And then if you want to change dynamics up and down, increase handling, decrease torque, increase traction control, decrease its stability, you'll be able to do that, turn it into your own drive mode, and really have a fully customized vehicle. Launch Edition is also making a return. This is a Launch Edition Rivian. And so this is in Launch Green. Of course, if you're gonna have Launch Green, you gotta bring back Launch Edition. And I imagine maybe in time, we will see a phase out of the Launch Edition Gen 2 quads, and we'll be getting a regular Gen 2 quad. And like the Dune edition, the California Dune edition, maybe we'll be seeing some specialized Rivians from the quad that are just special to the Gen 2 quad. That would be pretty exciting. Now, for pricing, starting off the R1S, $121,990 USD. The R1T starts at $115,990 USD. The Launch Edition, again, this same version that I am in, starts at $125,990, and the R1T starts at $119,990. So a pretty penny, but I don't think too far off from the Tri. Now, personally, my impressions, my thoughts, I just don't think that this is enough, particularly for the price. Now, Rivian is also saying you are going to get lifetime Connect Plus, lifetime Rivian Autonomy Plus, so no subscriptions. It all comes with the vehicle forever, which is awesome. But compared to the Tri, where you're getting a 2.9 second 0 to 60, so really here you're getting the Rivian Adventure Department or Development Team tuning, rad tuning. You are getting 4 motors, getting 1 more motor than the Tri. You are getting the Laguna Blue accents. You know, there are some other things here and there, but the Ascend interiors you can get in the Tri. The look of the vehicle itself you can get from a Tri. I wish Rivian really did a lot more with the quad, but this is what they're giving us, and I am still excited. I still think that this is an absolutely amazing vehicle, amazing interior. The outside is beautiful. The hardware, I mean, you are getting oil-cooled motors. Current Rivians, or the Enduro motor is liquid-cooled. And so you're getting better performance. I believe it's new overhauled thermals for the quad. And so this is just going to be a better performance vehicle. If you are someone that loves your Tri and you just want to unlock 10% more, then maybe the quad is for you. But I still think for everyone else, the Tri is going to be your best bet. You are maximizing range, you're maximizing efficiency, you're maximizing speed and cost, and then even the dual, even as low as the dual standard, Rivian makes such good vehicles. So no matter what you're picking, I think you're going to get a pretty good option. But this is the Gen 2 quad. This is the Kingpin, the top of the line. And you're getting some bragging rights when you're driving this and you see some other Rivian owners. All right, you join me here in my Rivian rooftop tent in Acadia, Maine, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about kick turn for a second. I fully don't understand what kick turn is, because in the initial media video that Rivian released, it seemed like kick turn was just a sudden jolt left or right, not a full 360 degree turn. But in newer videos, it seems that it is a full 360 degree turn. So is kick turn just, you know, a rotational difference, and that's why they've named it kick turn instead of keeping the name tank turn? What's changed? Still a little confused, but at least it does seem that it is a full 360 degree turn. And I've also learned you can use it while the vehicle is moving 15 miles an hour or less. So you can literally be driving the vehicle, activate kick turn, and the vehicle will kick its butt out and kind of do a drift for you, which is actually like really, really cool. Hopefully we learn more about kick turn coming up in the next couple weeks. All right, that is it for the Gen 2 Quad. Expect a full review drive video within the coming weeks. I have some exciting content on the way, but that is pretty much it for the Gen 2 Quad impressions. I am excited to see more of these on the road, and if you are considering ordering one, let me know down in the comments below, and of course, use my referral link if you don't own a Rivian yet. But thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Isaiah, this is Rivian Updates, and I'll see you guys in the next one.